but that is a shattering hit!
A trip into the arena in real life can be a very expensive experience. Here in Gmod though, it's a bit of a different story. Take Cosmo in the last episode for example. This burnout LEM motor, $0. These smoked out batteries, $0. The entire brand new chassis they have to get laser cut, $0. And the arena lights that they destroyed? Well, we can just spawn some new ones in. Hello everybody and welcome once again to BashBots. I am your host, the Dominus Ignis, and with me is the damn Beaver. We have reached the biggest and most important night all season, as tonight is the final night of the regular season and we will reveal the top 16 robots at the end of the night.
This season, more than ever, the rankings will be so tight. Some top tier teams such as Cosmo and Tenderlove have a chance of missing out on the bracket because they ended their season on a 2-2. For other teams like the legendary Thunderwave, their hopes are all but extinguished. But, I mean, hey, who even cares about those robots now? They're all for next season. We have an absolutely killer fight card tonight, where 6 robots will have the chance to top of their perfect seasons by going 4-0. Dom, show us the cards!
Beaver, this may be the deadliest fight card we have ever seen on the show. Kicking things off, 2 3-0 robots will face off as Amethyst and Wishbone collide. Both robots have been devastating all season long and are almost certainly locked in, and a win tonight could give either of these robots a top seeding. After that, Tranquilizer and ETA will square off looking to advance to 3-1 on their seasons. ETA has taken a big upturn in performance this season, so this could be their best shot yet of making the top 16. The Midway Major will see the second of our 3-0 battles, as Mars and Gumdrops will battle it out for the chance to go 4-0. After that, Panther and Loki will face off, both looking to impress the selection committee. Panther has been impressive all season, however Loki will need a strong showing here to make the top 16. And for our main event, it ended in a controversial decision last season, but Polis and Sparks will once again face off in the arena. Both robots are 3-0 and have been strong all season.
Starting off tonight, it's Bludel and Weather. Both of these builders have been around since BashBots began, and it's not hard to see why. Both of these builders are incredible, both in the arena and also in building robots. Wishbone from Weather. It's won 3 straight fights, all by judges' decision. The robot's been so strong all season long, this has been Weather's most successful season of BashBots to date. That weapon has been proven to be so powerful, and I think it's got what it takes to just outmatch Amethyst and take the win.
Wishbone has been an absolute step up in their game, but Amethyst has been one of the most feared robots in BashBots for a reason. It has been the top bot all season long, taking 3 devastating KO victories. It has been on a warpath. Now, whilst Bludel is slightly nervous going into the fight with Wishbone, knowing what it's capable of, I gotta say that nervousness also means potential preparation.
This battle's gonna be one to remember. Well, let's get down to the arena and kick off this night the right way.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? It's robot fighting time! Let's bring out the bots! In the red square! From England! This builder has made us change the rules more times than we can count! It's Amethyst! In the blue square! From the Netherlands! It's so wide you think it was photoshopped! It's Wishbone!
Wishbone, really good robot. I didn't want to fight him. He's got a good wedge, and he's a vert. So I don't think I'm going to win this one, but I'll try my best. We'll see.
So I'm fighting Amethyst, which is made by Bludel, and it's one of the scariest robots. My strategy is just full aggression, go for a streamer, go for a support, if possible, of course, and just try and pop them around a bit. I don't think it will work, but we can try.
So both of these robots 3-0, almost certainly in the top 16 already, but only one gets the elusive honour of going 4-0, no doubt getting a top seeding in that next episode. Who's it going to be?
Matchup between two of the more impressive bots so far this season. Amethyst and Wishbone, and it was Wishbone now with the first flip upwards on its purple foe.
Wow,
Oh.
Amethyst is keeping front onto Wishbone, but it hasn't worked for them whatsoever.
Wow, Amethyst in real big danger early on. We are not used to seeing this machine in BashBots history really looking this under pressure. The Shreemech is trying to come into play, but it's this persistency from Wishbone that we've seen from it already this season. Its weapon isn't always the biggest hitter, but it's so consistent. It gets in so many hits in a rally of action. It is relentless, and Amethyst has felt the force of it early on here.
It could indeed be carrying Wishbone over to a 4-0 record. We've never before seen a robot go quite this deep without defeat. Amethyst could still be that robot to go elusive with the 4-0 record, but it's got a lot to do to overtake this.
Wow, I take back what I said from Wishbone's big hits. Maybe it is capable of them here and there, but it is overturned now, and we know what Amethyst can do with just one meaty slam. The wheels can be got at from Wishbone. They're trying to protect them. They've done a good job of that for this fight so far. But you never know in BashBots when one moment can change everything.
I guess the thinking for some of these teams may well be, look, we're both in the top 16 already. Even the loser will still finish with a 3-1 record. How much damage do you want to take before moving on to that bracket in the next episode? Do you have an entire spare robot, or are you just going to have to be in there in the pits fixing some very late damage like that?
Well, the suggestion from these two here is that they don't care how much damage they take. They want to show what they are made of, and both of them have had moments to suggest exactly that so far. It's Amethyst now coming in with an incredible response. More damage, more hits. Wishbone is spiraling, reeling, suffering massively.
Well, and all of a sudden the pace changes. It seemed unwinnable for Amethyst in the opening minute. We thought we may never even see them get back onto their wheels again, but this is a game of damage, and by far the most damaged machine is absolutely Wishbone. Could this be Amethyst's 4-0 record instead?
Well, we both love a bit of sparks, but who needs sparks when you have damage like this being exerted? Both of these machines have given it their all here. There's been some massive hits, and with 10 to play, they are both incredibly still chugging along. Wishbone has been more consistent with the hits. Amethyst has been the biggest hitter in general, and there we have the end of it. Pick the bones out of that, Wishbone.
Even the sign's been defeated in the course of this one. Poor unregistered Hypercam.
Oh, rest in peace.
So here, let's take a look at that opening period from Wishbone. This will, of course, be down to the judges to decide what they like more out of 2 minutes of dominance from Wishbone or 1 minute of incredibly damaging action from Amethyst. If you were to put this down to me, I think Amethyst's damage is going to carry it through in the end, but you can't rule out Wishbone's dominant period.
The results from the judges are in. We have a split decision. And the winner is Wishbone!
winning by judges' decision, Wishbone has marked the end of this season with a perfect 4-0 record with an upset victory.
Moving swiftly on, viewers, I'm very sorry to tell you, but we don't have any rumbles lined up for you tonight. But hey, they have done one thing very well, and that is bringing ETA back into the limelight, ready to take on Tranquilizer for the chance to go 3-1. That said, I think I'm going to be backing Tranquilizer here. It is still an amazing robot. Yes, it lost the gumdrops, and it's still the robot that was the first seed in last year's bracket. I don't really know what ETA could do. I mean, yes, it could win a judge's decision, but can it survive against Tranquilizer? What do you think, Dom?
I think Tranquilizer is a great design. However, while everyone typically talks about how good vertical spinners are, people often overlook just how prevalent the wedge flipper design is in the UK. For years, it absolutely dominated the scene, so much so that even nowadays, it's a design that people can't take lightly. And I think that that is just as true in the BashBots scene. ETA, for instance, pulled off a good judge's decision victory against Rampage and Firewave, which I think is very crucial here. While it's definitely going to be incredibly difficult for ETA, I think that they have what it takes to bring the fight to them and potentially come out with the victory.
Both of these robots on 2-1. The winner will move to 3-1 and likely will advance, but neither one of these robots were particularly dominant in their previous wins against Firewave and El Montecargas.
Well, it's a curious matchup here. Both machines have had interesting moments this season. It's Tranquilizer, who we are so used to being dominant and absolutely incredible, who has had worries this season, and ETA, who has also made a name for itself while getting a loss in there as well. And both machines have already had something to shout about early on here.
Certainly, it was so close to win right out of the gates. Now that ETA has let that Uta opportunity slip it by, will it be able to hang on in there, or is Tranquilizer going to cause too much damage on its path to get to 3-1? In seasons past, it would have been considered an upset that Tranquilizer didn't straight up go to 4-0. Certainly one of the most rated robots in the competition, but this hasn't been their most impressive season. But now they will be looking to redeem themselves, and this has started to swing in their favour quite strongly.
Well, has that near incredible Uta awoken the Tranquilizer beast from seasons past? Oh, definitely suggesting yes. How on earth is ETA still functioning? Because for the last minute or so it has taken so many hits, but now it's responding again and nearly repeating what it tried to do at the start of the fight. Oh.
Tranquilizer just bouncing away on its own spinner. They can't control where it's going to bounce off that spinner, but through pure fortune alone, they got to land on the side that was going to be away from that arena wall. If they went the other way, it could have been over, but the arena spike inverts them instead. ETA kind of wasting its opportunity there, flipping at thin air.
Well, this fight so far kind of sums up both machines so far this season. They've both had periods of action where they haven't been able to get going at all. They've both had periods of action while they're showing why they've got wins on the board. And Tranquilizer's in problems again here suddenly.
Yes, opening the pit unwittingly. That's more to ETA's favour than it is to them. I think Tranquilizer can still win this decision if they keep piling on a little bit more damage like that. ETA will want a knockout, but now I can't ignore the possibility that it may well get one. They're driving just about well enough to stay alive.
ETA with a little lift over there. It's been a really good fight yet again here in BashBots Season 4. An incredible season already.
Oh, no!
We've got plenty more to come. And oh my goodness me, that was a moment of worry, alright.
Yes, and I think it's also worth considering that, yes, the winner will move to 3-1 and they will no doubt be in the top 16, but how high is their seeding going to be? We've seen some very impressive machines on 3-0 or 3-1. Whoever does make it that far out of these two hasn't had the strongest campaign overall, at least a little lacking in dominant displays. It seems like it may well be Tranquilizer, but how high would you rate them if that's the case? Or has ETA done enough to swing yet another surprise? Let's review that opening period. Certainly they will have wanted to have that 30-second knockout to move on to the top 16 with. That no doubt would have given them a top level seeding. Instead it was Tranquilizer who snuck underneath and did the most damage by a country mile. Definitely being aggressive with those hits as well, but they certainly spent a lot of time on their back. ETA couldn't really do much with them while they were catapulting about off the spinner, but they'll have been shaving away at their own weapon balance, making themselves gradually more worn down. But was it enough for ETA?
The results from the judges are in. We have a unanimous decision. And the winner is Tranquilizer!
And winning by judges' decision, Tranquilizer is now 3-1. This marks the end of the season for both robots now, as ETA finishes off with a 2-2 record. Things aren't looking good for them in this one. But I'll tell you what is looking good. Mars versus Gumdrops. This is another 3-0 fight between two robots that have done exceptionally well. Mars, all three of its fights have been won by knockout so far. Robo-Bowler has had a great 9-fight win streak, the longest in BashBots history. Some have said that Robo-Bowler might be one of the best drivers in the competition after that comeback victory over Claymore. As good as Gumdrops is, Mars might be on a whole other level.
Gumdrops has been winning 3 straight fights, one of which against Tranquilizer, and we just saw how good Tranquilizer is, didn't we? Gumdrops is a robot that has really come out of seemingly nowhere, but it's really shown to be a robot that can take on some of the legends of BashBots, and it can really dish out the punches too. All of its victories have come from the opponent losing their weapon and being unable to self-right, and sure, maybe that might not happen to Mars, but I think Gumdrops has enough power in that disc that it could take out Mars anyway.
And either way, this fight is sure to be one to remember. So let's not waste any more time. Let's head on down to the arena and see who gets that perfect 4-0 record.
Well, our defending champion Mars is on the biggest winning streak in BashBots history with 9 straight wins. They won't want to lose that streak at the end of their campaign qualifiers. They'll be looking for 4-0 against Gumdrops.
Well, it might take something special to end this Mars streak of wins, and honestly, if there's any machine capable of the unexpected and the incredible all in one go, it is Gumdrops. I'm not being funny, this machine has been largely dominated in fights this season, but it's always capable of just the biggest of hits it needs at the most vital moments, so who knows what will happen here.
They're very much known for taking away their opponent's weapon out of nowhere and then suddenly leaving them unable to self-right when turned over. That is something that can happen to Mars if they can somehow rip away that flipper. But Mars, one of the most defensive machines in BashBots history, that's what makes it such a winning formula. They are not the strongest flipper in the competition by any means, but they can stand up to just about anything. And so far they are doing against Gumdrops, who once again is being relatively dominated for a machine that's on 3-0.
Yes, Gumdrops so far only has those 2 side protective panels from Mars to show for in its own damage category. And Mars itself has carried out quite a few flips as Gumdrops gets knocked up and away by a flip now. Interesting.
Moment of danger for Mars, they nearly exposed those wheels right at the back. That's a direct hit to the flipper. Again, we would never even be questioning the idea of Mars's flipper coming off unless it was against such a complete wildcard like Gumdrops. Truly expect the unexpected with this machine as we move into the second half of the fight.
Goes Gumdrops yet again. This machine always seems to spend its time off the arena floor. You always have to keep on top of it as Mars is trying to do here. Gumdrops comes back, tries to get an attack in but misses. gets deflected aside. Mars trying to keep this pressure up. It doesn't want to give Gumdrops even a smidge of hope here, because that's all this machine needs to carry out what we've seen this season already.
Now they're in that arena corner. This is Mars's territory. You don't want to be on that planet. Gumdrops masterfully backing away. It could stand to go a little bit further though, or Mars is going to shepherd it right back in there.
Seems to be losing power to that flipper. Held back in the flipper power there. But it might not have needed the flipper if Gumdrops just trickled into the pit. We have 30 seconds to play. Gumdrops is into Gumdrops territory. Can it pull it off, or will Mars see this through?
Would be a 10-match winning streak to no doubt put Mars in the top seed position here in the top 16. It will be there regardless, but Gumdrops is taking this last opportunity to show why it, on probably its 3-1 record, deserves a good ranking in its own right. But that was a good finish from Gumdrops. Not quite the explosive comeback that it's needed in previous matches, but a comeback nevertheless.
Why are you abandoning the Trunksters?
Put my sponsors up straight away. That's the primary weapon.
But now let's see how Mars controlled those opening periods, just putting its steepest angles against the face of Gumdrops. Gumdrops, of course, spinning its disc to the right, so Mars is doing the correct thing by aiming for the left side of that disc, where it's going to cause less damage, carry less momentum on those teeth. But they did take damage. There's not too much of it to show on Mars, but there generally never is. A good performance from both.
The results from the judges are in. We have a unanimous decision. And the winner is Mars!
Moving up to a perfect 4-0 and moving up to a 10-fight win streak. Mars is truly set to be one of the best robots in BashBots history, but we can't ignore Gumdrops. Moving to 3-1, I think we're going to be seeing them both in the bracket.
And now as we head into our next fight, it's Panther versus Loki. Honestly, both robots have a lot to gain in this one. A 3-1 record would almost assuredly get them in the top 16, while a 2-2 record is a lot more risky. Loki won their last fight against Bad Language and Glacier, which showed some great control ability, and Alex is hoping that they can do the exact same thing against Panther this time around. It's gonna be tough.
Panther, they lost their last fight to Sparks and they took some really bad damage to one of their spinners. However, the way it's been repaired, that spinner's being swapped out for a lifter this fight. That's a very unique setup that I don't think Loki is going to be prepared to handle.
I know that the viewers at home are looking forward to seeing this fight, so let's head on down to the arena and see who manages to get that 3-1 record and an almost guaranteed ticket to the top 16.
Panther and Loki. One will move to 3-1 and get into the top 16. The other will be left on 2-2. Panther perhaps with the stronger record to be in that position, but they sure don't want to be.
Well, here we go. A contrast in attacking philosophy, to say the least, as Panther actually does come in with one spinner, one lifter this time around, so it is being more conservative.
They did lose that spinner in the previous match against Sparks in a close loss. They're still fixing that side of the robot, but the front hinged lifting arm will still be plenty useful for them regardless against Loki as they lift it up to slam it into the wall and get a hit on the underneath.
Very clever combination work there from Panther, but now it's been wedged up by Loki, which is trying to knock it over, if anything there. Now it gets the clamp down. Oh, not quite. The clutch got away.
Certainly didn't think we'd be seeing the lifting capabilities of Loki in this match, but if it's something you can accidentally discover your robot can do, go away and work on that. Maybe if we see Loki in the top 16, they could put some little hooks or wedges onto the top of the claws just in case they need to lift anything again. For now, it's Panther who will be going for a solo lifting attack while that vertical spinner was out of the process. That's a good hit to the weaponry as well.
Been a very measured control performance so far from Panther. We are not used to seeing this side of it, but it's playing this very, very well. But suddenly Loki has its chance to clamp him from behind. Is it going to leave its grip again? No. Good drive as well, and slams it into the arena wall.
Yes, and now that we're not seeing Loki in a melee environment, they can keep that grip going for up to 30 seconds while in motion, or 10 seconds at a standstill. So they will be driving Panther across the course of the arena, but they've let it go a little bit early. Opening the pit though, which will help.
Yeah, another little jab from Panther. Trying to bring in that combination of front flip and spinner in. But again, as this fight has gone on, Loki has found its feet and found its grab. Will it be enough to swing the opening period action we saw from Panther though?
Yes, we certainly haven't seen a great degree of damage from the Panther vertical spinner. It's no doubt winning the judges' decision, but it needs a little bit more to show for it if they want to take all of those points. Loki, meanwhile, they've had some good control, but Panther is exhibiting control of its own here, pinning Loki on the top of that raised lifting arm.
Yeah, now they are separated again though. That pit hasn't really been near either of them so far, but now it is. And who knows if either of them will be able to just urge and edge either of them into the pit maybe. It's Loki going for a grab and it's got a side clamp in here. That's going to be awkward for Panther to manoeuvre from.
Especially worth knowing that we're in the last 30 seconds of the match, so Loki is not obliged to let go of this attack at any point, but Panther has slipped away, only to be re-grabbed by Loki. They just can't get it to go where they want it to, though. Too slippery on that arena floor. Loki with some great grabs, but they just haven't quite been able to put Panther where they want, not even in the final 5 seconds, where truly things could have changed.
Enticing watch nevertheless, and now we'll see the action from the fight.
A very difficult one to judge, where neither was hugely damaging, Panther more so, but you also can't argue that Loki had all of the control either, even if they did arguably win it. Panther had control of its own, and then aggression, this feels like it's split down the middle. I can't call this.
The results from the judges are in. We have a unanimous decision. And the winner is Panther!
And Panther takes the win. Finishing at 3-1, it's almost certainly in the bracket. Meanwhile though, Loki will be finishing at 2-2. It's gonna be a tough fight, but let's hope it's enough so we can see it again, right?
Before our main event, we're going to show you how 3 more robots won their final fight of the season. First up, Atlas and GoldenEye faced off. It was an easy fight for Freeman's control bot as he pushed the vertical spinner around for the entire fight and got it out of the arena with just over 30 seconds left in the fight, finishing their season at 3-1.
After that, it was a battle between Siren and Ryu Kishin. It was a close match with good moments of control from both sides, but in the end, Ryu Kishin won the decision, finishing their season also at 3-1.
Finally, Claymore and Calcifer faced off. Unfortunately for the Roboteer, it proved to be a carbon copy of his fight against Atlas last season, and Marrow's excellent driving saw him dominate the fight, taking a judge's decision. Now let's get back to the action for our main event.
Viewers, I have a question for you all. Who likes a rivalry? Yeah, I thought so. Well, anyway, Sparks and Polis, the 2 robots in our main event, they've taken each other on twice so far, and Polis has lost both times. But here's the thing. The first time, it was obliterated back in the semi-finals of Season 1. But last season, Season 3, Polis lost a very controversial judge's decision. And this time around, they're clashing once again in our final fight of the regular season. And I think Polis is going to take their first victory over Sparks here. It's won 2 of its 3 fights by Uta, which clearly means that it can control its opponents very well. But what really swings it for me is that Kroger has some new anti-horizontal armor for Polis, which is designed specifically to take out Sparks. I think that alone swings the ball right into Polis' court, and I think gives them the win.
It's so close. These are 2 incredible robots, but for me, it has to be Sparks. Polis having that new anti-horizontal armor definitely changes the game here, but the fact that they had to specially prepare something for Sparks shows just how impressive that robot is. Sparks has been absolutely devastating, and while its weapon motor was damaged in the fight against Panther, Jagantag believes that it's been fully repaired for this fight, so Polis likely has to deal with Sparks at 100% capability.
Both at 100%, you'd say? I'd have it no other way. Let's get down to the arena and witness the final main event of the fight night.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? It's time for the main event! In the red square, from Northern Ireland. If they win this fight, it may not be safe to turn on their car tomorrow. It's Sparks! In the blue square, from Ireland, it's not the first time they've come to blows with the North. It's Polis!
Now, both these bots have a much quicker drive than last season, so I reckon this match will be much quicker paced than our previous fights. For that reason, I'm preparing to use the rear wedge a lot more this time round. Hopefully that should give the weapon a bit more time to get up to full speed.
So the last 2 times we fought this robot, we lost pretty badly, so we have some new wedges this time which will hopefully take the hits a bit better, and as always, we'll try and get him out.
Polis in its 4th season now, and the only robot that's ever beaten them is Sparks. Will it happen a 3rd time, or will that new anti-horizontal spinner setup be the change they needed?
The main event that needs no introduction. The biggest BashBots names go at it again. Who will come out on top this time? It's Polis and Sparks, and they're going for it right away.
Polis, it has to be said, with the opening lead, but anything can change when you're against Sparks, especially when it's getting hits to the wheels of Polis. You don't want that to happen too early.
Interesting exchange there. Polis very aggressive earlier on, trying to put faith in that new anti-horizontal wedge, and it's really coming forward, and Sparks in trouble, in anger, in desperation. Polis is really going for it here.
Yes, because this would not just be a 3rd loss to Sparks, but a 3rd loss in general for Polis. They want that 4-0 clean record to maybe have a bracket run that might not contain this infamous opponent. Well, it's going well so far.
Sparks cannot breathe in the opening minute of this fight. Polis again trying to come in with a flip. Sparks trying to reposition itself, but gets flung by the floor flipper. Now trying, but failing to move away again. And another flip from Polis.
And another. Let's keep it going. We're in the corner.
Jumped up! Yes! And nearly jammed out!
Oh, Sparks, they're using that rear wedge to try and back into it, but they can't get under that deadly new front of Polis. They're going to need to make some damage happen if they want to get the win for the 3rd time.
Or is it going to be 3rd time lucky here for Polis? Determined to avenge past defeats, and this has been an incredible opening period from it. Sparks has had a clip or 2 here and there, and always has the potential! Oh, but Polis nearly carried out the crowning moment there.
And it's still a danger of happening as well. They could get a flip from behind maybe, or Sparks could back into it itself almost.
Sparks trying again to find the breathing room, but Polis is relentless in the pursuit of its quarry. Sparks reversing, trying to angle. The bar just cannot move at all at the moment. Has the bar completely stopped even? As they both go towards it again! Oh!
Well, this is the best thing that Polis could possibly ask for. The weapon of Sparks is down, and only when it is, the Sparks flip Polis
That's an incredible recovery from Polis!
Oh, amazing self-righting on that timing to devilishly throw themselves across the pit. If Sparks were to get the third win in that fashion, I think Polis would truly never win this match. But it goes down to the final 10 seconds. They are alive, and with no weapon, Sparks is in a huge state of disadvantage now, unless they can get another amazing wedging attack.
Well,
But it goes to time.
we saw 3 minutes of incredible Polis action there, but oh my god, that pit moment, that is one of the most incredible BashBots moments ever.
That would be the comeback to end it all, but a comeback it was not. We're going to a judge's decision where finally we may see Polis get the win that it's been asking for 4 straight years. They got loads of flips, they took out Sparks' weapon, they self-righted in ways that showed their own control. Sparks had its opportunities and it so nearly won with it. But Polis will now be hoping it's got that 4-0 record. It's the only thing that can maybe challenge Mars and Tranquilizer for that number 1 seed. There we see the moment of brilliance to keep itself alive. Has the trick finally worked?
The results from the judges are in. We have a unanimous decision. And the winner is Polis!
And winning by judge's decision, Polis is our third and final 4-0 robot. Sparks, meanwhile, finally taking a loss to Polis, sinks down to 3-1, but I think we all know it's still in the bracket, right?
We have at last reached the end of the regular season, and we all know what that means. The robots and the builders have been working tirelessly all season long to make it into the postseason. And after some of the most destructive battles we have ever seen, the selection committee has made their decision.
The robots will be seeded in groups based on their records, and while we won't reveal what the exact seeding is until the next episode, I mean, we have to keep some suspense, right? We will reveal to you which robots made the cut in each group.
Starting with our 4-0 robots, we know who they are since they fought tonight. Wishbone, Mars and Polis will all be hoping they can claim the number 1 seed in the tournament, but all are guaranteed a top 3 seeding. In the 3-1 group, we have Amethyst, Gumdrops, Ryu Kishin, Atlas, Catch, Tranquilizer, Sparks, Panther, Calcifer and Huge. They can only be rated as high as the 4th seed, however. The 2-2 group is the most interesting of all of them. Of the 7 robots that are 2-2, only 3 of them will make it into the tournament. Those 3 robots are Cosmo, Claymore and Tenderlove.
Just imagine their faces when every single robot drops out due to damage and then vertically unchallenged wins the...
Beaver? Well, good luck in the unemployment line. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Join us next time as we reveal the seeding and kick off the Season 4 World Championship. No more second chances from here on out. If you lose, you have to hit the road. From all of us here at BashBots, we hope you enjoy the show. Until next time, good night.